Okay, so let's just start with countries in the GCC in the Middle East kind of behaving badly,
Right.
because I have a close affiliation to keep an eye on what they do.
You lived there
So
for a while, didn't you?
yeah, I've spent like the most. The largest portion of my life, to be honest, between Saudi and Dubai. So it does hold a. I mean, it makes up a lot of who I am, just my experiences there. So yeah,
I
that
don't
will
think people
always.
know this. I don't think people know this. I actually also lived for first 4 years of my life in Saudi Arabia, but I don't remember
Oh,
anything as you
snap.
know. So this is why when I say that I've lived in Australia longer than any other country, it's actually factually true.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that explains a lot. So because mine is more recent, I still kind of keep tabs on what they're doing. And this okay.
Oh, sorry,
Um
no, 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 not this. Sorry, I wanted to highlight this. So what does GCC mean? I know it's Gulf countries. What's the other
yeah,
C
it's
for?
sorry, GCC means Gulf Corporation countries.
Ah,
So they're
right.
like the countries within the Gulf, so like Saudi, Oman, Bahrain. And then you've got like the Khalij, which is within that, which is like Oman and like those kind of countries. Then the Levant, which is so anyway, it's just a way to describe like a bunch of countries within the Middle East. But today specifically, we're gonna just talk about what obviously Sheikh Maktoum's been up to, because obviously lately his track record, if people were following, it's gotten a lot of attention in the UK actually, but basically, Sheikh Maktoum is kind of always in the public eye for breaching human rights, on an international level, I would say. So he's been kind of really had the like spotlight shone on him for the kidnapping cases of his daughters, Sheikha Shamsa and Sheikha Latifa. And the daughter that went missing in 2000 from the streets of Cambridge, that actually is a case that the UK is trying to reopen, because she technically went missing from a UK street. So that's now like a crime committed in the law of the land, according to the UK. So they're in their rights to kind of investigate it. Whereas Sheikh Latifa tried to escape Dubai, and she was making her way to India, and she was kind of just reaching the coast. And then Indian Coast Guards actually worked with Interpol and the UAE authority, and they kind of put her back on the UAE vessel, and she was sent back to Dubai. And okay, I don't want to distract you guys with this, but obviously she's done an interview, and put them out. They are on YouTube, where she's talked about her kidnapping and her situation now. And then she was photographed, and the Human Rights United Nations ambassador was there photographed with her, which was really, really bad on her part, because she kind of met Latifa face to face, and Sheikh Maktoum was putting this face to the world that he's um, like he's so happy to have his daughter back. They're a happy family unit. She wanted to go back to Dubai. But the reality, even her body language in the photos, her face, her comments in these videos before of her treatment and how she's living, is absolutely abhorrent. She's kind of locked away. People in Dubai know it on like a deeper level. It's called a khaima. It's like within the palace, there's a little kind of back space that she's kept in. And she'd get beaten. She wouldn't get access to like basic things to even like bathe and shower and cleanse herself. She was like washing her body with washing powder just to feel clean. So I mean, this basically what I'm trying to paint this picture of Sheikh Maktoum being clearly a head of state and an international figure, but he's not kind of shy to really try and like overtly control the women in his life and come into the public eye as a result of that. So recently what's happened is, I'll
Before you
just share
go
my screen. Yeah.
Before you go further on that, I think it's important to highlight the fact that while Sheikh Latifa was put, she was basically locked up, um, and her brother, he's totally living the opposite life. He's jumping out of planes, traveling the world, throwing parties and everything, and that just clearly shows you that the man versus woman divide.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, again, I'd say that there's problems throughout, just because of the family in general and the power they hold. Like another brother, similarly, like he was also a son, but he didn't share the same fate at all. But that was down to like other things, that was his own like ways of coping with how rich he was and his duties and his partying habits. But even Sheikh Latifa, like they try and show these videos of her skydiving on the Palm on the Palm Dubai, and like she's lived this like epic life. She's rich. What more could you want? But she speaks about how it's a gilded cage, and literally we just see the photographs, we see their Instagram life, but from her point of like leaving the house to getting to that skydiving location to jumping out the plane on the Palm and then going back home, every single step of hers is monitored. It's timed. She's with people constantly who are like monitoring where she is, who she's talking to. So yeah, it's very like, it goes like really intense with how deep rooted the abuse goes. But yeah, men definitely live a better life. But what's the Sheikh been up to? Let's see what he's done recently. So Princess Haya, the wife of the Sheikh, actually, I was stumped because I did always see her as a forerunner for human rights, and I was wondering how she would allow two girls to effectively be, well, Sheikha Shamsa apparently is almost in a vegetative like state. She's constantly monitored by doctors around her who are writing down like her every move, just constantly topping her up with pills. And I'm going to make a video on this whole saga because I think it's really important and not enough people are talking about it. And just to kind of keep it relevant, but Princess Haya basically came back to England, ran away, fled the UAE. And I have a massive soft spot for people who flee the UAE because I did myself. So I get it. I totally get it. And she's fleeing exactly what happened to me, but like on a mass scale, obviously with the head of state. But it's using this abuse, control, and power to intimidate you, to keep you trapped, to try and reel you back, or just to make your life a living nightmare. So the Sheikh, obviously, when Princess Haya wants a divorce, the Sheikh wanted to get his children back. So she took out forced marriage protection orders to safeguard her children and not let them be able to leave the UK. So that case is ongoing, but this is what the Sheikh has been up to since then. Just gonna so yeah, basically he.
Oh, look at him! Look how he's dressed up.
Yeah, this is him at the horse
Hello,
races,
sir.
I think.
Would you like to go for a high tea?
He's dressed to the nines. But yeah, so basically, the High Court has found that the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum, interfered with British justice by ordering the hacking of the phone of his ex-wife, Princess Haya of Jordan. The phones of her solicitors, Baroness Fiona Shackleton, QC, which means she's on the Queen's Council. So she's basically a peer of the realm. She's a lawmaker and she's a member of the House of Lords. And he's just hacked her phone. And Nick Manners were also targeted during their divorce custody case, according to the court. Princess Haya said the discovery made her feel hunted and haunted. Sheikh Mohammed denied any knowledge of the hacking, as always, standard procedure. He said the court's findings were based on evidence that was not disclosed to him and that they were made in a manner which was unfair. Obviously, the judgments are a blow to the Sheikh, another blow to the Sheikh because he's had plenty, and a further revelation as to his treatment of female members of his family. So obviously the High Court has deemed a number of serial breaches because this is clearly like breaching criminal law of the United Kingdom. And he's basically used this Pegasus spyware software, which is provided by Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you heard
Pegasus
of that?
added again? Yeah. Pegasus is added again. Imran is being used by India as well, apparently, and Modi was accused of using that on the opposition parties, parliamentarians, and also Imran Khan.
Oh my God! Yeah. So, and obviously, the extent to what it can do, right? It can go into your WhatsApps, your literal SMSs, everything.
You don't even know. You don't even know that it's one of the best. Not one of the. It is actually the best in business at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this like goes back to like the Israelis have been supplying this stuff to the UAE long before they made their business relationship official. That was just common knowledge. But this just shows the extent to which rulers like this, who claim that this technology is meant for like protecting and safeguarding the state from terrorism and crime, actually usurp their power and use it to control the female members of their own families. So clearly an abuse of
political
power.
Dissidents. Or political dissidents.
Exactly, precisely. So yeah, this is literally the third woman member of his family now that's come out and spoken out against him. But yeah, basically, to sum it up, a very substantial amount of data was hacked. And obviously, this is like, it's a matter that the UK can't ignore. But basically, even moving to the UK, because of the power that this man holds, she's still living in fear of her life, basically. Princess Haya's legal team told the court the mother has been living in fear of her life, frankly, and in fear of the children's security since April 2019. The court also heard how Sheikh Muhammad had attempted to buy a property in Surrey Parkwood Estate, so close to his ex-wife's home at Castlewood that if anyone chose to use it, it is in prime position for direct or electronic surveillance.
Well, that helps. So being a billionaire helps. If you want to stalk someone, just buy a house next to him.
Yeah, or try. In this case, he failed, thankfully. But this was a massive game because he was hacking her phone and her data, obviously. And when she was kind of preoccupied with that, they pushed to get this property through. But then obviously this was highlighted as well. So it's all been presented as part of this case. But he's moving on various levels. There's layers to this. And then this article obviously just goes to talk about what happened to Sheikha Latifa. This is a really, you guys should definitely check out this video. She makes it clear as day what's happening to her. She gives the dates
so bad
in case.
For her. Yeah,
I know, it's so bad.
India let it down.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, there was that whole argument, right, that she was in international waters. So technically she, nobody had jurisdiction over that ship. But then Interpol got involved because, again, being a billionaire helps, being a head of state helps. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because, basically this is all kind of coming to light, and this is still relevant because Princess Latifa still isn't safe. No one knows. So we're going to have to keep these things really kind of out there in the media. The UK is doing a lot to highlight that case. They kind of re-showed it on Panorama this year. And obviously Dubai, this is very, very embarrassing for Dubai. So they're not going to cover this at all in the Emirate. You won't hear of this. You won't hear anything about it. Standard. And the UK, obviously the UK Foreign Office are going to kind of want to keep this as low profile as possible because, again, it's so embarrassing. But the UAE and the UK have insane business ties. There's over 100,000 registered expats living in the UAE. And, the RAF uses UAE airfields and airstrips and things like that. So again, he's a billionaire. He's so heavily invested in the equestrian scene here. He's close friends with the Queen. So they're going to try and keep this hush. But this is just the level of what some of these states who are Islamic and their view on being able to coerce and control women. We're seeing this play out at an international level where this man thinks he almost has, well, he kind of does have diplomatic immunity from being held accountable by the West. So no, we're not going to see him in handcuffs anytime soon, but this is why we need to talk about it because this is from the top down.
But what angers me is that, and I think I would agree with people like Hakikachu and all these Islamists on this fact that there is a bit of a hypocrisy in the Western world as well. Where are the human rights? Why does the UK government not make a scene out of it or not cut off their ties? As you said, look, it's easier said than done. How many did you say? 100,000 Brits are living in the UAE and,
registered anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So all those things happen. And then, you know what? They're like, well, because as BBC pointed out, this guy is trying to meddle with the British justice system. So there should be some sort of a blowback. There should be some sort of or maybe, who knows, behind closed doors, they might be saying, the UK foreign minister might be saying, look, Your Majesty, you're crossing the line. Please don't do this. Causes embarrassment to us. But yeah, that's just it's sad how it goes.